Rio, you're wanted for robbery and murder. Now don't make me have to kill you. I want you in my jail.
Please play your card.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm gonna miss him, Jim.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss him.
Well, I miss him too, really. You know.
Now, who am I gonna drink with? I don't want to drink with you.
Well, that's all right, you know.
All the time.
Even though we miss him, we'll find somebody else to drink with, you know. No big deal. I mean, we've been mourning him for what, 2 minutes? That's long enough.
Good gracious.
I mean, he was a friend and a buddy and all like that, but he wasn't that great, come to think of it.
I got a dead man's hand. I might be the next one in the coffin myself.
Well, you got to throw him out before you can get there. You know,
Oh.
You see something?
No, it must have been got gas, I think.
Yes, okay, well. How many cards you want? No, he wasn't. He was rotten too. He
drinks.
He was rotten card player.
He drinks so much booze that you keep. I might keep him out about 2 or 3 weeks.
One thing. What'd you say?
I said might keep him out 2 or 3 weeks. Did you do anything?
I thought you might.
Oh, I never been to this.
I don't know.
I ain't got anything.
You play cards about like he does, you know.
Sheriff, I rode a long way to kill you.
I know you and Rio were close. I might have grew first, but I didn't mean to. I gave him every chance to turn himself in. Now, if you got any complaints, let's settle it on the dueling range. You or anybody else that wants to face me.
No hard feelings, friend. Let's get it on.
Sad news, friend. That's United States Marshal Wellington.
Marshal, I admit that I imitated the sheriff, but I just took his place. I didn't kill him. It's just my way of hiding out.
Let's hang him.
Let's get him. Let's get him. Get him out here. We'll go in after him.
Marshal Clayton, Randall's escaped.
It's Randall. Tell the men to get mounted. Let's get after them. Whoa, Sheriff, whoa, kick it.
Marshal, he's crossed the state line. What do we do now?
Drag him back across the line, we'll string him up.
All right, you gentlemen, hold it right there.
Well, how did things go for you men today?
All the people in the gang was killed.
We're the only ones that made it across the border.
Yes, we're the only 3 that survived in this church. This is the only way that we can survive. We've just got to make the best of it.
So I reckon we need to work on the church instead of in the fields.
Well, both needs to be done. I feel really we need to work with these people on irrigation. Show them how to irrigate the land so the food will grow.
Yeah.
The crops will grow.
You're right.
That'd be good, Reverend.
Well, I'm looking forward to a good day's work, and we'll see how things work out.
The Harper gang just took over the bank at Twin Peaks. And I really need some of the men so I can go ambush this Harper and take his money.
I don't hear nothing of the sort. That's blood money. I'm not going to have any part of it.
Well, Harper's been in my way for a long time, and I'm fixing to put a stop to him.
Well, I can't spare the men. There's cattle that have to be ranched up, there's fences that have to be mended, and there's stables that have to be cleaned out.
Marshal, they must be riding them horses hard. They didn't even bother to pick up their hats.
Well, they'll have to stop and rest them, and when they do, we'll get them then. Well, Harper wasn't with them. Well, just take the money off of them and we'll return it to the bank.
There was no excuse for this ambush. No excuse whatsoever. Hey, you do get results, but your gun has shot down more men than any outlaw wanted dead or alive.
That's where you're wrong, Your Honor. Will Harper has killed more men than I have.
I don't care. I want it stopped.
These are men with guns. I put my life on the line to do my job while you sat behind the confounds of this desk. Well, you've hung more men than me and Will Harper will ever kill. What I'm saying, Your Honor, don't tell me how to run my job.
Your job is the only thing standing between you and the hanging rope. And if I find out that any of these killings were unjustified, you're going to be relieved of it. Do I make myself clear?
You know, when I was young, I was accused of a crime that I didn't commit. I knew that judge would have hung me.
There's a lot of things I've done too.
There's a lot of things I've done too, but I can't take them back now.
No, I'm not proud of the things I've done, but I had to join the gang in order to survive. Well, we got a new life now. We got a lot of responsibility. And I feel a mission here is to help these people.
There's a lot of things we'll have to do to the church.
That could be why we survived.
To help these people.
Mr. Forrester beat us to the market by 1 day. It cost us $1 a head. I don't want it to happen again.
Miss McFay, we're not going to be able to meet our schedule and take it easy on these men both. And you cannot have it both ways. That's all there is to it.
You knocked Slim Foster's teeth out last week and kicked Joe Green's head in the week before. Now, we're not going to be able to make this schedule if these men aren't able to work.
You know, you men have worked hard today and you deserve a good smoke. I realize this is the Lord's house, but I feel He rewards His children.
Figure He does.
That's very nice of you, Reverend.
Yeah, we got a lot of responsibility, but well, look, it's worth sacrifice.
Yeah, helping the people, everything. In the fields and down the church.
Well, how have you been making out in the fields, you know, since you've been transferred from labor to church to the field?
Well, we've done pretty good so far. We picked a lot of stuff up and laid a lot of piping.
Well, you men enjoy yourselves, and I'll go check and see how everybody's getting along.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Comstock, after this cattle drive is over, I was wondering if you'd like to go on the hayride with me. But your mind isn't on the hayride, is it?
Well, actually, it's not that I'm not interested. It just is these guys that's on this cattle drive with me haven't been around or haven't seen a woman in a long time, and they are very restless. And I'd rather that just pass for the present time.
A person's just got to do what they have to do in order to survive. Now take me for instance. I became Father Weldon in order to survive. He came to visit me in prison. I knew him, I knew his behavior. I knew he was a sick man and he wouldn't be able to take this church. So I became him. For safety purposes, I took his middle and last name. Now take Mr. Comstock, for instance. He's running a ranch on the other side of the state line that protects him from the law. He's sweet on this lady, Miss McFay, and was a haven for outlaws. But I don't know. I don't say it's going to get work out of some of them. I feel about all they know how to do is pull a trigger on a 6-gun. But what Mr. Comstock does, he mostly robs the other outlaw gangs. He could be a modern day Robin Hood, but he don't give the money to the poor. He just keeps it for himself. I'm going to tell you, man, this is what it amounts to. I mean, the mining company is cutting off the food supply from the Indian. That means that without this supply, they're going to force these people to sign contracts to work in the mine.
Why can't you report this to the sheriff?
And the mining company owns the sheriff and the deputies.
I realize that. They just feel that with me out of the way, things will go back the way they were.
But what do you think we should do, Bill?
All the food grown at the mission is for all people. Our church is your church. Everyone is welcome.
You raped and killed a 15-year-old girl. Being drunk is no excuse.
I don't remember a thing. I was drunk.
The fact is, Mr. Wilson, you did it. I sentence you, Frank Wilson, to hang by the neck until death. May God have mercy on your soul. Now there's one spot left on the scaffold. The hanging will take place at 4 o'clock this evening. Court is adjourned.
Marshall Clayton was a history teacher back in the East, and a good one. He had a way of attracting the interest of his students. He'd joke around and say, "Wonder what the British history book would have to say about this." He'd attract their attention, and then he was home free. He could really get information across. Then his family was murdered. So he was deputized by the law enforcement group that went after this man. They caught up with him in Santa Cruz and they hung him. Ever since then, he stuck with the law. And a guilty prisoner that's going to hang, he don't mind putting him down. He don't mean to insult the American hero because he's a very patriotic American, but he likes to watch them sweat before they hang. Now this young man that's going to hang, I wish that I could be there to say a word of comfort for him, but I'm an outlaw in that area, and I could hang right along with him.
Do you remember when we strung that man up down in Santa Cruz? How he got down on his hands and knees and begged for his life? I just don't think the history books have got it right.
What do you mean by that?
It says in the history books that Nathan Hale regretted that he had but one life to give to his country. Now, do you think he really said that?
Yes, I think he said it. He knew he was going to die, so he just held himself together and went out with respect.
But did he really mean it, or did he say it to go out with respect?
I don't think that's important. He was a brave man, and he died like a brave man.
Man, it looks bad. I mean, the other tribes, they're getting hostile. They're blaming the church, and they're blaming the Christians for the short supply of food.
All the soldiers is back with the Christians.
What do you want us to do?
I want you men to stay out of it. Carry on the work of the church. I want you to work with the men in the fields.
Yeah.
I want you to work with the building of the church. I've got a responsibility to try to keep the peace. I'll do what I can to stop it.
It'll be hard.
We'll do the best we can.
That's all I can ask. That's all that the Lord can ask. I pray that His will be done.
Bye-bye.
Now look, man, your greed is going to start a war between the two tribes. They got to have food. Now we're growing so much on church property, but it's not going to be enough. trying to force these men to work in the mines, and what it is, you're going to start a war.
Got to eat, and these bills are so high, if we don't pay them, they double the interest on us.
This is what we're faced with. Most of you men have signed contracts to work in the mine. I know it's rough on your families. Yet, there's no law in this area against forced labor because it hasn't existed lately. And there's no one to enforce it.
Slavery is what I call it. And if we don't pay our bills, they're going to hold us here until we do.
I don't understand. They're beating the workmen with whips. You have to recheck with the marshals.
What would you suggest?
As Reverend of this community, I'm going to organize a committee among you to give you a chance to elect your own sheriff. Under the law of the state, well, the majority rules in elections anyway. I can't help it. Look at this mining camp from a distance and think about the life that I could have lived if things hadn't changed. I met this woman in my dreams, and we were going to work together, work on a farm. Then something happened to change everything.
Woman, you know what we come after. Make it easy on yourself.
It's far enough. Take another step and I'll kill all three of you.
Woman, you know you ain't gonna use that gun.
gonna be a hot day. I think I'm gonna set this down and rest a while.
Randall, don't you get tired of sleeping on that couch?
Well, I'm not complaining.
I realize a man is supposed to ask a woman to marry him, but I'm going to ask you, do you think there's a chance?
Well, yes, there's a chance.
Well, I want to know something in 2 weeks.
Well, that's awful short notice. I just feel that something that serious, 2 years would be more like it.
I don't want to keep on living like this.
Well, I'm just going to have time to think.
Time is short.
There's certain things in life that happens to change things. Not too long after that, I got in trouble and I was forced to join the gang in order to survive. A rider came in today and he brought me my horse. He told me that Mr. Comstock, the Harper gang, has captured him. They're planning on hanging him before daybreak. Now I've got to try to help this man because he helped me. He stopped Marshal Clayton and his deputies when they crossed the state line. They would drug me back and I would probably hung, but they knew the law. Man, my horse is saddled and I'll be on my way now. I'm going to try to get there before daybreak in the morning to stop this hanging. You men carry on the work of the church, and if I don't make it back, there'll be somebody to take my place. If you or your friends shoot me down before I get there, everybody will know that you was afraid to face me. Are you afraid to face me, Carson? Are you afraid? Carson, you said that you was faster than me. Well, I give you a chance to test your speed for his life. Across draw from the setting position. After friend Mr. Comstock, I stopped by the mine in town to see how things were getting along. One of the company gunmen killed the sheriff and his deputy. I organized that committee to elect the sheriff.
Bill, you sent 2 hired killers to kill you.
With you out of the way, things will go back the way they were.
Well, I want to thank you men for warning me.
What you reckon we should do?
Well, we'll just carry on. We'll just cross the bridge when we get to it.
You don't beat up a company man, preacher. You better get a gun.
I haven't got a gun.
You got one now.
Well, how'd I know it's loaded? How did I know that it'd work?
You better pray that it does. You just better pray that it does work.
Look, I killed the 2 gunmen you sent after me. But what you got forced labor in this mine. All you got to do is just stop it. There won't be any problems. You're going to die. I'm looking for Carson. Look, Carson killed your woman and you killed his kid brother. Now why don't you just leave it at that? My advice to you is get out of town while you can. I might be willing to do that, but you're not willing to let me out of town anyway. No, you didn't come out to Carson, you came here to die. You have to go through me first if you expect to get any of my men. Okay, we'll sell it your way. I tell you, there's going to be more situations like this, and I don't know but one way to deal with it. And what I'm saying is, there's another priest coming to take my place.
So what you want us to do?
Just give him the support that you gave me. I'll deal with the situation. Try to right what's wrong. After my position is fulfilled by this new priest. Well, I might be willing to leave it at that, but so I'm planning on taking over the town. The town needs a good sheriff.
Don't you have any remorse for that man? Or any man your gun has cut down? What about their families? Don't you have any grief for them?
When I became Father Weldon, I would sit with the families, pray for the sick, be there with them and pray for the dying. They put their faith in me, and just knowing Father Weldon, knowing his behavior, there was a whole lot more to it than that. When the people put their faith in me for spiritual guidance, I became him. Then when these two company gunmen came and I shot them down, the spirit of Father Weldon left. So these people turned to me for spiritual guidance. And I was no longer the leader that they put their faith in. So I created this sheriff that I wanted to protect me, and I became him. I just saved a man from hanging the other day. I shot the rope in two.
And I heard that you had to kill a man in order to save him.
This sheriff that I created, he's just like a soldier that goes to war for his country, to protect his homeland. When the war ends, he returns home. He plows his fields. He may work at the store. He may rebuild or even build a church. When the killing stops, the war ends for me. I'll work at the store, possibly plow the fields, or help build a church when the killing ends. Yeah, Lester, he was a gunfighter. He killed a lot of men, but, well, he just, he went to his grave just the same, just like the rest of them.
Well, you gonna die, Outlaw Dog.
Carson, I'm just as glad to meet with you as you're glad to meet with me. I killed your kid brother when I freed Mr. Comstock. And you know what happened to my woman.
How do you account for this heroic shot?
Well, Carson knew that I relied on fast draw and fanning my gun. That's only good at close range, so he put me between ranges. He backed up just far enough that he felt that I'd miss, and not too far that he wouldn't have to slow down on his draw. But I felt that I had a chance. I felt that if I could hit him in the arm, in the leg, just make him flinch, he'd miss a shot, and it'd give me enough time to hit him with the second shot. Fortunately for me, I hit with the first shot.
Those are the words of an executioner. Your mind is already set. You've already got it planned how you're going to kill a man. And you don't have any remorse when you go and cut a man down.
Well, a person has got to anticipate. It's just a whole lot more to facing up to a man in a gunfight than a fast draw. It's a whole lot more than enforcing the law than a fast draw. You just got to plan ahead. And what it all amounts to is, if you don't be the executioner, you'll be the one executed. It's just that simple.
Well, I'm still not convinced.
When they hear the shots that's fired that's killed a sheriff and deputy, all the attention's going to be in the street. Want the men to hit the bank from the rear. We'll stay back to cover.
I'll call you down.
Where's Jack?
How did they ever get a woman good?
It was some crazy senator's idea. He said that a woman couldn't do the job.
Well, it looks like she went out of her way to prove him wrong.
Marshal, it's just come over the wire. The Harper gang has just robbed a bank at Twin Peaks.
They'll be headed for the state line. We better stop them before they get there.
I just got the word that Will Harper and his gang, they robbed a bank at Twin Peaks. Marshal Clayton and his deputies, they caught up with him and killed a lot of them by ambush. But Harper and some of his men, they escaped. The owners of the mining company, they've offered them refuge in this town to fight with their company gunmen. They want to take this town back.
Is it necessary for one man to kill another? One nation to kill or dominate another in order to live?
I don't know, but I've appointed some good men for deputies, and all these men can use a gun, and they can use it good. We're going to hold this town. Well, I've already killed so many of your men, and I'm planning on staying.
Randall, you didn't come after Carson. You came to die. You don't stand a chance. My men have already taken over the town.
No, I'm planning on taking over the town. The town needs a good sheriff. Now, I thought that I left you for dead on that dueling range. I see you survived. I want you to count your blessings and leave it at that.
The best thing you can do is pack up and leave while you still got time.
I think you're making a big mistake. Marshal Clayton, how nice of you to visit. We've taken care of the Harper gang. You don't have to worry about that. Marshal Clayton, how nice of you to visit. You know, if you bring any of men across the state line to capture me or kill me, as much as one citizen dies defending me or the town, you'll face criminal charges. Yet, stop by and visit me anytime.
Well, Randall, I see you're not going to cooperate. I'm warning you. If I ever catch you across the state line, I'll hang you myself.
You're not going to catch me on the other side of the state line because I found a home here, but stop by and visit anytime you feel like it.